College football returns with Week 8 this Saturday, and there is a very nice slate of games for your entertainment. University of Texas on the road at Houston with a kickoff time of 3 p.m. Central on Fox. This promises to be a very interesting game, not only for the fans of Texas and Houston, but also for the folks who used to watch the good old Southwest Conference. Now, it's been a while since the two teams have last played. In fact, the last time that Texas visited Houston was actually 22 years ago, way back in 2001. And interestingly, in that game, after the first quarter, it was 10-7 Texas. After the first half, it was 20-14 Texas. I think Saturday in this game between the Cougars and the Longhorns, there's going to be a little bit of a similar energy at stake. In my estimation, I think Houston comes out and plays very hard early on and keeps it close maybe through the first quarter, perhaps even all the way through the first half. But eventually, Texas wins out in the end. Now, in this game, Texas is favored to win by 23.5 points. And if you take a look at some of the stats for both teams, I think that's where you kind of get into the meat of the game itself. Defense is where the key truly is, though. Defensive points per game, Texas giving up an average of 16.3, which gives them an 11th ranking throughout the nation. Houston averaging 31.3 points allowed on defense per game, and that ranks them at 89th in the country. And I think that's going to be the key difference in this ball game. Texas's defense is far superior to Houston's. I think this will be a lot of fun for both fan bases, and especially for the residents of the state of Texas who remember the SWC. This will be kind of a throwback effort. But at the end of the day, I see Texas dominating this game by a score of 45-21. Staying on Saturday, moving to the first window at 11 a.m., we have an SEC West battle. Mississippi State at Arkansas. If you take a look at the SEC standings, it kind of feels like both teams have their backs against the wall. Mississippi State coming in this game with a 3-3 record. Arkansas sporting a 2-5 record on the season. It feels like both of these teams really need a win right now. And of the two, more pressure would be on Arkansas. I've got the Pigs coming out on top in this game, 31-20 over the Bulldogs in Fayetteville. Staying in the first window, but moving to the Big Ten, we have what is perhaps the best game of the day, at least on paper. Penn State at Ohio State. In this matchup, Ohio State is favored to win by 4.5. I think they accomplish a little bit more than that. I've got Ohio State on top of Penn State by a score of 28-21 in Columbus. Staying in the first window, moving to the Big 12, UCF, Central Florida at Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off the huge win versus Texas in the Red River Shootout. I think they continue to roll. I've got the Sooners 56-17 over the Golden Knights in Norman. Moving to the second window, 2:30 p.m. Central kickoff, Oklahoma State at West Virginia. West Virginia coming off the heartbreaking last-second loss to Houston. I've got the Mountaineers bouncing back 24-17 at home versus Oklahoma State in what could be very bad weather. Moving to the SEC, we have South Carolina on the road at Missouri. This one feels like a must-win for Coach Shane Beamer of South Carolina. Not to keep his job, but certainly to at least salvage this season. Unfortunately for the Gamecocks, I don't see it happening. I see Missouri coming out on top in this one by a score of 45-28. The CBS SEC Game of the Week features Tennessee on the road in Tuscaloosa, facing off against the Crimson Tide. Now, amazingly to me, so many people in college football have written off Nick Saban, and they talk about him almost like it's time for him to hit the retirement home. And I see this as unfortunate because, yes, Alabama is not up to the perfect standard that they've set for the past decade or so, but they're still a very good football team. As such, I've got the Crimson Tide winning at home by a score of 28-21 in a very close, very tight ball game. This win, I think, will put to rest at least some of the speculation that Nick Saban is just over the hill and can't coach anymore. Staying in the second window, moving to the Pac-12, its finale, its series finale, we see Washington State on the road in Oregon. Oregon coming off a heartbreaking loss to Washington. They correct their ways this week. The Ducks win 38-17 over the Cougars of Washington State. Moving into third window territory, 5:30 p.m. Central kick, Virginia faces off against ancient rival North Carolina. Mac Brown and the Tar Heels continue to roll, and they win this game by a score of 38-10. At 6 p.m. Central, moving to the Big 12, Texas Tech at BYU. This one could be a very competitive game. The BYU Cougars bounce back at home. They beat Texas Tech by a score of 31-28. 6:30 p.m. Central, we move to the ACC. Duke at Florida State. A lot of people saying, hey, can Duke do it? Can they knock off the Seminoles at home? I don't think so. I've got Florida State winning 42-21 in Tallahassee. Moving to the Big Ten, we have Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan State in a little bit of trouble this season, just not having a great 2023 campaign. Sadly for them, I think things get even worse when Michigan comes to town. I've got the Wolverines winning this matchup by a score of 42-17 in East Lansing. 7 p.m., what could be a very explosive game in the ACC, Clemson at Miami. Miami still trying to shake off that bizarre loss where they chose to run the ball instead of kneel against Georgia Tech. And I think that helps them with motivation. I've got the Hurricanes winning 24-21 at home, really putting the kibosh on Clemson for the remainder of the season. Finally, remaining at 7 p.m., but moving to the Pac-12, Utah at USC. I've got USC returning to their winning ways, winning a shootout with Utah by a score of 47-34. Now, regardless of who you root for, hopefully your team wins. In any case, remember to have fun with some college football because that's what it's supposed to be about. This is Kevin in Texas, and God bless you. I'll talk to you later.